Hi, Peter. So from the upcoming, such a pleasure to speak to you. Such a fascinating and multi-layered film. What can people expect from Memory?
I think to be moved. I think to be um, to have a different idea about what happiness might look like.
And Saul, not an easy character to play. How did you get into the mindset, and how did you see him as a person?
It's always difficult, I feel like at this moment actors make up ideas about how they got into something or portrayed a certain person. It never feels quite like doing homework and then taking a test. But I daydreamed about it for ages. I understood the type of filmmaker that I was working with, and that a lot of the onus would be on me as the actor since he doesn't shoot any coverage. And I met with, a doctor who treated people who have dementia and helped them psychologically. I looked into groups like Reimagining Dementia in New York City. I talked to people who have dementia on the telephone because it seemed the best way to do it, and only people who are wanting to do that. My uncle had early onset dementia from playing football and boxing. So I had experienced it in my life, just like a lot of people had experienced it in their lives, but I also didn't want to play someone whose condition was his identity. So this idea of learning about dementia and stuff, to me this is like 10% of the whole thing. The rest of it is the other actors arrive and you have the conditions and you work with all the various people that you collaborate with, from wardrobe to directors to cinematographers.
This incredible chemistry you have with Jessica Chastain. I mean, how did you work on this complex dynamic between the two of you, I guess, off screen and on screen?
I think we left it all on screen. We didn't actually interact a tremendous amount when we were on set. We were typically staying in very, humble little rooms over in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, or in the house that we were filming in. Really, really simple. But I rarely went and knocked on her door, and she rarely went and knocked on mine. And I think that added to the relationship you see on the screen. I think we really had to meet when we were on camera.
Obviously, it's looking at people who are marginalised, but maybe also that there's some freedom in that, in sort of, burying things from the past. What do you think the themes are and the takeaways might be from the film?
Well, the film is called Memory, so I think it has to do with and obviously I play someone who has dementia, and she's someone who has something that happened in her past that a lot of people, some people around her say she misremembered and things like that. So there's some clues there, but I hesitate to sort of make the movie be about that, because to me, in the end, the movie is really just about two people coming together in any way that they can.
And you've had quite the year, and particularly quite the Venice, getting this Best Actor prize, or the critical acclaim for the other films you were in. What was that moment like for you, and what does that kind of thing mean to you?
I think it means a lot to me. It's very nice to be. It's like what I was talking about in the acceptance speech for the award. To me, it's about connection. That if I speak, you hear something I said, and then you say something, and I hear it, and we start doing that. And I do think that kind of thing, especially in a movie like this that isn't just sort of like a video game or has some aspect of that's sort of drowning you in a soundtrack, that it asks a lot of people who are addicted to cell phones. It asks a lot of people that don't really look other people in the eyes every day and have the experiences that these characters are experiencing. So I really hope that it is a deeply humanizing movie. Well, that is the moment that I talked to Michelle about the most when we were leading up to making the movie, was that moment of walking, following her, and why I would do that, and what that is, and why I sit outside all night, and all of that's in the film. I don't want to spoil the film for people, but I had to come up with a very clear idea of why I was doing that, and I do have one. And I hesitate to even share what that is, because I think asking questions in the movie and having to answer them yourself is a part of watching this movie. And maybe an exercise that would be very valuable to people that have gotten rusty at reading human behavior? Well, that it would always come from a very human place. The character has an event that happened before the movie, and this isn't giving too much away, that my wife passed away many years ago. And I think that the events of her death, which are very specific to me, and again in my mind, and a lot of this is not shown in the movie, impact the way that he deals with other people, impacts the way that he deals with life. And it was really nice to play someone who could experience pain, like we all do, and still be always looking for light, always optimistic, always trying to, not at the expense of lying to himself, but always after joy. I think how uplifting the movie is. I mean, I know that's a very strange thing to say about this movie, but for me, I've seen audiences just be so moved by the film, but not in a way that's like despair. For me, just seeing the effect of this movie on audiences and seeing that it makes people feel, and has just been incredibly powerful. Well, he shoots everything in one shot, a oneer, so there's no coverage. So the whole scene's going to play through from one angle. So, you do it several times, and a lot of it is sort of like very empowering for an actor because he can't really change what you're doing because there's nothing, he can't cut to the dog or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting, we're such different people in the movie, and when we were making the movie, I kept feeling like, just from the point of view of the character, that I just wanted more and more and more. She was someone that's so interesting to me, so clever, so truthful, that I think I've realized now that this feeling I had of like wanting more was the character's feeling, and being around her has just been extraordinary. She's been incredibly supportive of me, which has been wonderful. I really, really hope to, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, that we're going to do more films together. I think that this is a kind of troupe. Don't look at your phone too much. Look at other people. Don't take your inspiration from other movies or other actors. Take your inspiration from looking other people in the eyes and interacting with them, or whatever way that you do it. That human interaction, the thing that AI can't replace, is what you have to become a specialist in. There's a very famous actor who once told me in my second film I ever did, he said, "You blink all the time." And I think I just realized that I wasn't calm. Whatever he meant, I have no idea. But for me, it made me realize that there was another level of relaxation that I wasn't doing. And it's taken a long time to be able to find it. But again, going back to what advice I would give to a young actor, it's that being relaxed enough to take the pressure off yourself and be curious about someone else is what I think is the human experience that we're trying to magnify. Well, they curate the films, right? So you have a team of people who are cineists who get sent a lot of movies, and hopefully they look at them not just in terms of who made them and highlighting career achievement, but finding new voices. This is the way that new voices are found. I've been a part of it my entire career for 30 years. So, when I worked with Kim Pierce on Boys Don't Cry, she had made a short film before that. And the festival circuit, the prizes and all of that brought in that new voice. So to me, it's about hearing from people we haven't heard from yet.